Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Those Two Geeks. He's Alex. I'm Joe. We're coming at you from our normal Saturday time slot. I mean, time is relative because for us it's a time. For you guys, it's whenever we post this. But the point is, we're in the normal schedule as of today.
For now.
For now.
It's funny, I was going to ask, do you actually know when this goes live? I never do.
No, it doesn't go live it doesn't go same time every week.
Okay. I know it's on a Sunday, but I never know.
It's on a Sunday, but it's never like the same time.
That's fine. I'm not too worried because
yeah. So you can't set your watch to us, folks.
No, God, we don't set our watch to us anyway. So
no,
that's what you have a digital clock for.
Yeah, exactly.
God, do you remember having those Casio watches? Like, I'm sure you had one. You're about the same age.
Oh yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
Those things. I found one the other day. Those things are like insanely durable for how cheap they were at the time.
I know, and they're ancient. But yeah, I had a Batman Casio watch.
Oh, of course you did.
Mm-hmm. I had a Batman '89 Casio watch, but it was like holographic, and it had like silver, purple, and like blue in it, like for the bat symbol. It was really cool. I remember
awesome.
That thing. Yeah, if I can go find that thing now, I'm gonna go find it.
Oh, 100% you should. I just had a generic one. I think it wasn't. God, it was probably only about £5. Lasted me for years, and then I upgraded, and I ended up just getting another Casio because the other one had lasted so long. And that one lasted for quite a while. And then when I got a, quote, adult watch, it lasted for a third the time of my Casio.
Oh, God. Yeah. No, I've gone through so many adult watches in my lifetime. Expensive ones, too.
Mm-hmm.
The average span is like a year and a half. They're less than cell phones for me.
I find, like, I got a watch from a Canadian company, Roots, and it had the day, the month, everything lined up. And it was great until I realized that I bought it just before a leap year or something.
Oh, no.
I'm like, what? Like, do I now have to spin it forward 3.5 years to get it back? Like, how do you adjust this when the only thing you can adjust is the one wheel on the side, so you can't touch the middle stuff? I'm like, this is absolutely garbage. Like, it was one of the stupidest things, and it never occurred to me when I bought it. So now, whenever after that, when I was looking at getting like an analog watch, I would always get one that had. When I was looking at it, it's like, how do I change it, or like how many functions do I have on it, and does each one have its own individual like dial to set it? And if it didn't, I wouldn't get it regardless of the price. So I used a watch from Walmart for quite a while, actually. It's actually I still have it. It just doesn't have any back power in it. And because I use an Apple Watch now, it's paperweight. But it lasted for a long time. I had a Batman watch. Oh, it's from a candle company of all things. They just happened to sell a Batman watch. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And I loved it, and it was great until I dropped something on it, like right on the screen, and it hit it in a way that the glass broke.
Yeah.
I'm like, I probably shouldn't continue to use this. I put tape over it just so nothing else happened, but I never ended up getting it fixed. Yeah. And again, now that I've got the Apple Watch, like it's never going to get fixed. But this is the kind of riveting conversation you join us for on, folks. The ironic thing is that we sat down and was like, so what do you want to talk about today? No intended reference to Cody Rhodes.
Right.
Like, what do you want to talk about today? And she's like, well, there's been some.
Oh, wow. I didn't even catch that. That was great.
It was honestly, that wasn't even intentional. We said that, or you told me there was developments in wrestling. I was like, okay, I haven't watched anything at all.
Touch upon that right now, and then we'll go into the other topic, because that's definitely one of contention.
Yes.
So especially for you, for being how humongous a fan you are of that franchise. So I mean, you
want to know what I think about what's.
Anyway, let's go into that one first. Let's go into that one first. We'll end with wrestling.
Right, so I love how flexible we are with our plans. This week, images were leaked deliberately.
I
Not,
only saw one. I saw
yeah.
one image.
So images were released of Bill Skarsgård in as Eric Draven in
Right.
the reboot of the 1994 movie The Crow.
Yeah.
Um,
Masterpiece.
I mean, I agree. You've seen what I have in my office. I have action
Yeah.
figures. I have posters, statues. I have Crow
No,
tattoo.
it's a
Like
masterpiece. I mean,
right, like
it's
I've
not the same level, but it's got a cult following that
Mhm.
Batman '89 has because they were like the same exact time frame.
Absolutely. So the ironic thing is, as you say that, I'm literally wearing a T-shirt that's a mashup of the Crow and Batman
That's hilarious. Yeah,
of the
exactly.
80 of the it's the animated series. But anyway, so
Oh, I saw that shirt. That shirt's awesome. But
yeah.
yeah, anyways,
Anyway,
I saw the one picture,
Mhm.
and Bill Skarsgård has like, I don't know how to say it. Is he Native American with war paint, and he had like dreads? That's all I saw. He had
Interesting
like
because
really high dreads.
the photo I saw, and this is the one that's been going around. Like I saw the photo, and then I hopped onto the Crow subreddit just to kind of get a gauge of what
No, I'm
people were
sure
thinking.
people are freaking out.
Oh, they're not happy.
Yeah.
So the image I saw was Bill Skarsgård in the like super skinny. You know, I'd say he's got like a six pack and stuff, but I think it's more a case of it's skinny fit than it is
Mm-hmm.
anything
Yeah.
else. To be clear, I think that works best for Eric Draven.
Same.
Like he doesn't need to be built, and I think the fact that he's just a thin,
Lanky. Yeah.
lanky dude, right? Like because from
He's a
the
crow.
well, and from the original movie, he was a musician. He wasn't really a fighter. So
Exactly. Well, in this movie, supposedly he's going to be a musician as well.
uh, which is what you're looking for. So
Right.
I saw the photograph, and my only issue with it, and this is purely a personal aesthetic,
Mm-hmm.
the haircut I saw, you know, the again, this is probably showing my age. Um, the haircut that I saw, it's the Adam Copeland like mullet, but with a really shaved sides.
Yeah, and he has like dreads.
I see. I didn't see any dreads in the one I saw, so I'm
I'll
hoping
see if
that
I can
maybe
find it.
yeah, send it to me because I didn't see any dreads in the one I saw, and it might just be that I looked at it quickly and it's like, huh, that's interesting. Um, it is not that hairstyle is not something I would ever wear myself.
Oh
Um,
no, I'm sorry. I looked at the. I must have been really tired. I looked at the girl next to him.
oh,
No,
okay,
it is Adam
okay,
Copeland mullet style.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's so that hairstyle is just not my thing. I think it's not
same.
my personal aesthetic. It, you know, I don't know if it's because I grew up where the mullet was
Gone.
like
Well, the
gone
mullet was only part of our culture
as a
with
meme,
comic
right?
books with
Yeah,
Superman
and
in the
like and it was
'90s. That's it.
and and it was just but when we were growing up, like you had a mullet, you were the butt of the joke. So
Yeah.
I
You were roughing the
appreciate
pass.
that it's making a resurgence. It is not something that I ever would want to wear.
Yeah.
Um, I've always thought of Eric Draven as having longer hair. Now I'm not.
Yeah. Long stringy hair. Yeah.
Yeah, and now the original comics itself, he actually had some form of a mullet.
Yeah.
It was like a David Bowie. God,
Yeah.
I said that badly, but you know what I mean. It had that kind of longer up top and
You
the
should have
back
got
hair.
that. You should have nailed that. You're British, for Christ's
I
sake.
should have. It's
You're like David Bowie.
I like if you could say it wrong, I said it wrong.
Yeah, you
Um.
did.
Anyway, so like a David Bowie from like the oh God, what was it called?
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that kind of hairstyle is what it had in the comics. Again, nothing
And
I
I'm
would
fine
wear,
with
but
that. I know.
yeah,
I'm fine with that.
it's just I think this shorter version is I'm like, yeah. But people are really upset about the face tattoos.
Yes, that's what I meant to say. Yes, the
And
face tattoo.
I am currently indifferent to them. And the reason I'm currently indifferent to them is if you look at musicians like Jelly Roll,
Post Malone.
Post Malone,
Yeah,
um,
it's a thing.
right? Like it's not uncommon to see a lot of rappers have that kind of face tattoo.
Right.
Ironically enough, I see less rock and metal musicians with face tattoos. A lot of
But
their
they have them.
they do have them. They go right up the neck. Is like I'm thinking of Alex Terrible from Slaughter to Prevail, but it's not uncommon to have a tattoo on the face. And I think that in 2024, the aesthetic for a musician is significantly different than what it was in 1994.
Mm-hmm.
So while I might not be a fan of the hairstyle, I recognize that that's actually more of a modern take on the music.
Oh, Brady.
Jesus Christ, that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, me too.
Totally leaving that in. Do you know every so often I do the intro with the goat scream? I don't know if you ever listen to it and hear a goat.
Yeah. Is that from Thor: Love and Thunder?
Yeah.
I fucking love that thing, dude.
I don't know why. I put it in every now and again, and it makes me laugh
It's
as I'm
one
doing
of my
it.
favorite. It's impossible not to laugh. That cracked me up during the movie so bad.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I won't like. And it for me, it's even better when it has absolutely no reference whatsoever to the
Yeah.
show itself.
Sorry, Brady tangent. That's all right.
That's fine. So, I think my bigger issue with the movie isn't the aesthetic of the lead character. It's the need for a reboot versus a just a new iteration in the franchise.
Right.
Because I get it. Everything old is new again. That kind of thing is always en vogue. 1990 was 30 years ago, right? So it's not like it was. There's a lot of kids today that wouldn't have seen it, and I use the term kid loosely. But at the same time, this isn't like it was in 2004. You didn't have to, if you missed a movie in theater and you didn't happen to see, oh, that cover looks cool in like a DVD or a VHS.
Yeah.
A lot of this shit's on streaming, so a lot of people would have seen something along those lines already. Like probably would have seen the movie already.
Mm-hmm.
My point is
Can you hear the cat?
Yeah, I don't really care though. It's
God damn these two today.
Yeah, you have a look, dude. You have a dog and a cat, neither one of which grew up with each other, and they get on relatively well. I think you can take that as a win.
This cat just running around having the zoomies right now, and he's like, I feel like singing, and my dog's like, I don't like that singing. This is crazy, but yeah, no. Is there a need for a reboot for The Crow? I guess you can argue either way.
You can argue either way. Like, I think that you could have redone the story and just named the guy differently.
Yeah,
because you have
that's what I think should have happened.
Right, like you have the Crow City of Angels, you have the Crow Salvation, the Crow Wicked Prayer, you've got Stairway to Heaven, like all of these different
Crow
things.
City of Angels, and that was terrible.
Yeah, Crow Salvation is. I mean, nothing is as good as the original one.
No. But City of Angels.
Salvation was decent. Wicked Prayer was okay.
Yeah.
City of Angels is the weakest of the four.
Oh, it's awful.
I'm still doing a full rewatch of the series of the franchise at some point. Yeah. So could they have just re-released a movie called The Crow and not had it be Eric Draven and like not told the same story? I think so, because ultimately every version of The Crow is basically the same story, right?
Yeah, and it's gonna get compared to the Brandon Lee one anyway.
So, and that's just like, so in that case, do you lean into the, hey, Eric Draven is the same, we're just retelling the story 30 years later, or do you say, hey, we're telling a new version of the same story?
Right.
So it's, half a dozen of one, six of the other. I mean, ultimately, I've learned from our reactions, and again, like we come back to this all the time on the show. Heath Ledger, Ben Affleck, right? When they were cast. Now, you and I weren't talking, and I don't mean this we just didn't know each other when Heath Ledger was cast, right? We didn't know each other.
Right, we didn't know each other when Heath Ledger was cast, but we did when Ben Affleck.
And we did, and we were talking about it. I don't know if we were
talking about eating your hat.
Yeah, I was like, but like we went through the Ben Affleck's gonna be shit. He's awful, and then we thought, oh wait a minute, Ben Affleck can play. No, I never ate my hat, and I think because I changed my mind as I went into it, realizing that I'd made a mistake, and I liked my hat, but exactly. I think it's the same thing. Like we've always said, you go into a movie wanting to enjoy it.
Right. And it's like when I saw the idea of Daniel Radcliffe as Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
I like tilt my desk over, threw it up in the air. I
Yeah,
was so
and
angry.
I
And
was
then
like,
I
yeah,
started
but
thinking about it, and I'm like,
exactly. Like, and I think
fuck, this
everyone
would be
has,
really interesting.
and that's just like everyone has the gut reaction of, oh my god, this is terrible, this is awful.
Logan doesn't
And
have to be handsome.
no,
So
I mean,
it's like,
one could argue Daniel Radcliffe is a semi-attractive person. However,
one could argue.
one could argue it's not a hill I'm willing to take any damage on.
Right.
That said, Daniel Radcliffe's a really good actor. Like I
Yeah,
really
that's
enjoy
the
him
more important part.
in what I see. And ultimately, I think if you put him in the MCU, he would do a phenomenal job. He's still only in his 30s.
You
So
heard about Cavill possibly being in the MCU?
yeah, as either Cyclops,
Yeah.
Captain Britain, or something else.
Not Captain Britain, but that ship has sailed, I guess. But Cyclops is a very high
I
possibility.
I would take him as Cyclops.
I'd take him as anything,
Really, like if you can lock Cavill in as anything, and
just to like screw over DC. Yeah,
yep,
I would, because
especially
they
as
they made the stupidest move with him.
and I mean, and ultimately Cyclops is pretty. You can play him pretty close to the way you played Superman too,
Yeah, and the
like
thing is,
the Boy
like,
Scout thing at the beginning, anyway.
so like bringing it back to the Crow. I mean, the Crow is very, very dark and noir and goth and just like everything's monolithic and like very, it's just like monochromatic tones. It's not
Yeah.
anything. It's not a colorful movie.
Mm-mm.
Like the first two pictures we've seen already, like him at a fire and all this and that, like already have like a big wash of color. So it's
I
interesting.
and
But
again, like I'm not. It's funny. Like I was expecting to come on this when I first saw those images and just rage against it.
yeah,
But I've had a couple of days to sit and think, and I spoke to someone yesterday, not about this,
mm-hmm.
and what they said isn't what I'm about to say, but it made me think. I was like, the internet is fantastic. It is,
Yeah,
but it too easily enables you to have a reaction,
mm-hmm.
post your reaction out there, and then just stay at that point. Like how
Yeah,
many times, and this is what I was getting at when I brought up Ledger and Affleck. How many times
mm-hmm.
have you and I had a reaction, thought this is
Mm-hmm.
going to be shit, absolutely terrible. I don't want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way in hell we're doing it. And then we think about it. Sometimes we'll talk about it, not always on the
Mm-hmm.
show. And I'm like, maybe that won't be so bad. And you and I are
Yeah,
adult enough and I hate the term man enough, but you and I are open enough
mm-hmm.
that we're like, hey, you know what? Our reaction was not wrong, but that's not where we are right now. Like
Yeah.
that
We
was us
jumped
in
the
the
gun.
moment. Like we jumped
Yeah.
the gun, we reacted too soon, we didn't think about it. So many times have you and I had that moment of that's what that wasn't the that's where we were in the moment, but that's not where we are right now. And
Mm-hmm.
I think too many people have that reaction and feel trapped to stay there and then try and justify their initial anger rather than say, you know what? You're right. I did say that. I did think it was shit in the moment.
Yeah.
I don't think I do now. And we allow each other to grow past. This has been a way deeper podcast than I was expecting it to get.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah. It was. Tyler
like,
Casio watches.
oh god, like we go past that reaction of that initial reaction to something else. And I think over the last few
Yeah.
days, I've had that reaction with the 3 images of the Crow. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna
Of
want to
course you
enjoy it.
will,
Like
because you are a massive Crow fan.
exactly, and
I like the first movie. I'm not. I'm a casual. I can take it or leave it.
the thing is that that's just it. Like it's not going to be for everyone. And at the end of the day, my prerequisites for the movie ultimately is the soundtrack any good?
Yeah.
Are there some of the lines in there that, like, if it's a remake, you would expect some of the lines in there that are kind of iconic to the movie
Well,
to
yeah. It
show
was
up?
like the Flash throwing in Batman. You want to get nuts?
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
nuts. Exactly.
Exactly that kind of thing. Like I want some of those lines in there, and
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, I like Bill Skarsgård is going to be great.
Bill
what,
Skarsgård's really good. That's the
right?
thing that
What,
sells me at least.
yeah, what he looks like is just a modern version of what Aaron Brandon is, right?
Yeah,
Like
right.
that's all it is. So the vitriol and hate online for this movie already, like I've seen people say, we need to do what we did with Sonic. No, you don't. Because
Yeah.
if you do what you did with Sonic, the budget's going to skyrocket.
Yep.
You're going to have Bill Skarsgård either reshoot everything with a wig on a green screen and his performance will not be as good.
Yeah.
Or you can just shut up and accept that, hey, he doesn't look how I want him to look. If there's going to
Yep.
be a sequel, and there probably will be a sequel,
Yeah.
maybe whomever it is going to adjust in how they look. Now, a sequel is an entirely different prospect entirely. I think if you're going to do a sequel, you almost want to make sure it's a different character.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. That's getting that we're thinking way further down the line.
I mean, yeah, it's the same thing that I'll go through when eventually Tony Stark gets recast.
Yeah.
It's one of those, I know he's going to have to be if they're going to continue that, line of Marvel, but I don't want him because Robert Downey Jr. did such a phenomenal job. Like, I identify with him more than any other Marvel character. Like, I know Wolverine is identified as Hugh Jackman, but I'm open to the other idea of people as Wolverine.
No, agreed.
Tony Stark, though, is Robert Downey Jr. It is just, there's no way around it. Like, when Jim Rhodes got recast, I argue I like Don Cheadle better. I think Don Cheadle is a better actor. I think he did a great job. But Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, is Tony Stark. I mean, he's just incredible. So, like, when that day comes, I'm gonna be like, and I'll probably be like, this is crap, this is terrible, but
yeah, you're not saying anything that I disagree with. I think that, like, it's funny. I can take or leave Iron Man in the comics. He's
same.
never really been my thing. Like, I don't. If I never saw him again in the comics, I'm like, he doesn't. He's not. To me, he's not unique enough in that he's a smart rich guy.
Yeah,
can you right? Like, you could name 5 smart rich guys in comics off the top of your head immediately.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a unique concept.
Yeah, no.
That said, and I'm deliberately not doing that because we'll tangent. That said, Robert Downey Jr. embodies a character that I like. I don't like Iron Man in the comics. I lap him up when he's on the screen because
I love him
because it's Robert Downey Jr.
Because he's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He's perfect. I've never seen casting better. And we can go into casting, Pedro Pascal with, Reed Richards. That's another one. Here we go. Everybody who gets cast for anything these days, people are all pissed off at. Right out the jump. People are already mad at Pedro Pascal. It's like, dude, we've seen Pedro Pascal's a phenomenal actor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a great actor.
We know he's going to be good.
He's so good at comedy. He's so good at drama. He's so good at, horror. He was terrible as Max Lord, but that's it. That wasn't his fault, I've come to believe.
100% agree.
But, like, if you've ever seen Pedro Pascal, there's a Saturday Night Live skit, and this is going to be just a sea of tangents today. If you've ever seen Pedro Pascal on a Saturday Night Live skit, he plays a coma victim who wakes up. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, and he's
I'll look it up. I will look it up.
Oh my fucking God. You will piss your pants because, like, he doesn't remember his wife. And his wife is like, hi, baby, how are you? And he's like, how are you? And he's got, like, a weird lisp. And she's like, I'm your wife. He goes, no, you're not. And she's like, yeah, I am. We've been married for, like, 20 years. He's like, let's put a pin now, okay? And then, like, it's fucking hysterical. Look it up. You'll piss your pants. And you'll thank me. Because it's like, he's so versatile. He's not just the Mandalorian. He's not just Joel from, This Is Us.
Exactly.
Or The Last of Us. This Is Us. No, that would be a terrible remake. This Is Us was that, like, TV show. People cried every time. The Last of Us is what I meant. But yeah, no, I mean, everything. Listen, everything's derivative of everything else these days. There's one thing that we've never really gotten over the hump in the 2000s to now is creating like a wave of new IPs
Yeah.
and new ideas. We're just got into this trend and this like trap of what haven't we rebooted yet? Let's do that.
Hey, I love this as a kid. Why don't we do that?
Yeah, let's do that. This has a superhero. Let's use this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do this. You know, thankfully that trend is everything as a superhero IP is going to be successful is kind of going away because we've seen that that is not the case. But like for a while, every movie company on earth was buying up everything. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
and that's just it. Like at a certain point, you have to accept that not everything is going to be.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was going with that, but
I respect your opinion. I think I'm going to be very interested to see what you think of The Crow when it comes out, just because you're such a mega fan. It was basically what I went through with Robert Pattinson as Batman.
Yeah.
I was excited, but I went in, I was nervous at first. Well, when they first cast him, I was like, no, God, no. And like, yes, that was the reaction was, oh, you got to be shitting me. Then I saw a few of the pictures, just a few, and I said, oh, this has a really good tone. Like, I really dig this tone. And then I saw the suit, and it had like the Arkham City type style with the bat logo, and I loved the concept of him taking his parents' gun, splitting it in half, and turning it into the bat symbol.
I thought
that's something that's never been done,
right?
And I was like, oh.
And I mean, ultimately, Robert Pattinson is a good actor. He was. He's really good, but people only know him from Twilight,
right?
Because that's where he made his name, where he made his money, etc.
Yeah, it's very.
So exactly. So like for a lot of it, it's a case of I forget where I was going with that. A lot of it is the reaction of, oh, I don't want it. This guy is shit. He did this. Well, yeah, he did do that a long time ago.
Also done a whole bunch of other stuff.
Right, like you watch him in Remember Me, The Lighthouse.
That's what I was told to watch before.
Right.
I was like, okay, because he played such a dark, tortured Bruce Wayne. I think he played dark, tortured Bruce Wayne better than any of them.
Agreed. He didn't. I'll actually argue he didn't play Bruce Wayne. He just played Batman with a mask on and a mask off.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
like Michael Keaton played Bruce Wayne, but he played it very quirky and suave and like sophisticated and he just played him like aloof, where Ben Affleck played him pissed off because he was just angry at the end of his rope and just kind of doing his thing, trying to find his humanity again. And Christian Bale, I would argue, is the very best Bruce Wayne because he's so well-rounded.
Agreed.
He could give you the Playboy fake facade, and then he could give you the really dark inner like trappings of like what drives Bruce Wayne.
And I think that's just a comment, like a testament to how good an actor Christian Bale is.
Christian Bale's fantastic,
right? In comparison to, and again, I'm not saying anything negative or intending to imply anything bad about the other actors to have played him, but like I think Christian Bale was just leagues ahead of everyone else, and he approached it as a serious film project.
Yeah, exactly. Like he approaches everything.
And
he's a method actor.
Exactly, and like his process for getting into character was just significantly more in depth than some of the others, and that's fine, right? Like that's just the way it is.
Listen, if you ever seen the movie The Fighter, very few people who aren't Boston or native to New England born can do a Boston accent correctly. And Christian Bale kills the Boston accent. He's so good at it. You're like, he's just, oh my God, he was incredible in that movie. Incredible. So I was like, I've been a big fan of Christian Bale. He's just the only movie I didn't like him in was the Terminator movie, where he played John
Yeah.
Connor. I thought that movie sucked.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff that he's been in that hasn't been good, it's kind of more. He's very much like Carl Urban in that
Yes,
you're
agreed.
never going to see a bad performance by Carl Urban or Christian Bale, but you might see a shitty movie that they're in.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my dog just bit my finger. That hurt. Baby. Fucking little bastard. Because I had his little squeaky bone trying to take it away, and he got my finger.
Fair enough.
Shit. But no, oh no, he brings it. I threw it way over into the kitchen as far as I can go, and he brings it right next to me. You little bastard.
That's
You know
because
I'm
you're playing fetch with him, whether
you know I'm
you know
recording.
it or not. He's
You
like,
know
I don't care.
But yeah, no. So, yeah, no. Christian Bale did the best Bruce Wayne because there was just like he could do. The only thing I didn't like was his Batman's voice. It's the one thing of the movie I didn't like, and I still don't like. Every time I go back to the where is she? Like, man.
I think in the first movie it was perfect, and then I think
he
as
sounded
it
like a snake in the first movie.
but he was more of a whispered husk.
Yeah.
And I think as it went on, it became they altered his voice in post production.
Brutal.
Which
brutal.
I think it was a mistake, but I get what they're going for.
I wish they went for something like Ben Affleck's modulation voice.
Exactly. Like
explain it
away as a modulator where it just changes. But I think Robert Pattinson's Batman voice is really good as well. Like it's just you can tell he just drops it an octave.
I think it makes sense though too, to be honest, because if you think about it, it's always been the complaint like with Adam West and Michael Keaton. It's like, how would you not know this guy's Batman?
Like his voice is the same.
Exactly the same. Exactly.
Like, and I think it's explained away in the comics that he does change his voice as he's talking. It's like a much harsher voice.
Well, he does. He's a master of like
disguise.
Not disguise. Ventriloquism and all kinds of shit. So he can do all kinds of stuff. But I think no one really touched on the voice aspect of Batman until Kevin Conroy.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Conroy plays Bruce Wayne and Batman as two vastly different people in voices. Like, if you've never watched the animated series before, ever, and I played you 2 clips of Bruce Wayne talking to Selena Kyle and then Batman interrogating a thug, you wouldn't be able to tell me that was the same voice actor.
No. I mean, unless you knew that voice actors often
that's
play
what I'm saying.
multiple characters. Like,
unless you knew, but like not knowing offhand.
Yeah.
If you only had the audio, you'd be like, oh, those guys are good.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's like one guy. You know what I mean? It's just brilliantly done. But yeah, I remember my buddy being like, wow, Batman looks like a fuckboy. He looks terrible. You know, when they did the clip of the cemetery and Batman was on the motorcycle. When I first saw the Bat Cycle from Matt Reeves, the photo that went in like Entertainment Weekly or whatever, I was 100% on board because I was like, oh my God, he's taking some from Snyder and Capullo's New 52 run. And he did take a lot of inspiration from Snyder and Capullo's New 52 run. And I was like, oh, this is so good. Like, so many times do we see Batman stuff as like over the top designed specialty gadgetry because it's, you know, patented Batman. Just to have it be a muscle car that looks like a Batmobile that's sleek. It's one of my favorite Batmobiles. I love it. But then the Bat Cycle is my favorite Bat Cycle because it's just a thin plate with the bat logo where it's almost like a bat.
What I enjoy about the aesthetic that Batman has in that movie is that if he takes off his mask, it just looks like a rich boy's toys.
Yeah.
Right? Like he can, and I think that's why I enjoy him running around in the motorcycle helmet. He's clearly still got the Batman costume on. He just doesn't have the cowl and cape on. So it's like he's getting into places and they're looking for Batman. They're not looking for some random bike messenger.
Yeah, I love it though. And
right? Like I just thought that was
the
really,
high
really
collar
well done.
on the neck is really cool. I like the bat suit itself is one of my favorite bat suits. I like the like Court of Owls inspiration with
Hmm.
the arrows on the gauntlet instead of the the scalloped gauntlets.
Yeah.
Like just he's very much a Batman year one. I'm sure Batman 2 we're gonna see like a departure from that and a real serious upgrade to the costume.
I I would expect so, and I think a lot of it's going to be explained by the fact that in the first movie he was acting in the shadows, and he was
Yeah.
like
Now
didn't want
he's in
people
the
to know.
light.
But and now that exactly, yeah, now that they know he's there, he's got to try and look a lot better.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. And I know we started this with the Crow, but like
Yeah,
we kept it dark. And it's just I'm very excited for it. It's funny. I don't know if you've ever heard of a YouTube channel called Comic Storian.
I have. Yeah.
Okay. So I like to watch some of his things sometimes where he just goes through like the whole run of like a comic book. So I started listening to his like Hickman run on the X-Men. And we know how I feel about the X-Men, the
Hmm.
Powers of 10 and all that. I didn't really like it. But then they got to this one part in Comic Storian where he was talking about people protesting the fact that the mutants have the ability for reincarnation. And
Yeah.
I thought that was fucking brilliant. I was like, wow. Because the X-Men at their core are always based in social issues. They're a social justice movement in the 60s. That's what they were. They were a
Hmm.
commentary to that stuff. So I thought, okay, yeah, less lording over the country from your secret flower place, and let's lording over the planet, and then more interaction with shit
Yeah.
like that. And I loved it because there's a scene, and I don't know, you read the X-Men. I haven't read it in about
I
3
haven't
years.
honestly. Neither have I. I picked them up, but I haven't read it.
I
But
haven't read them in about 4 years. Well, because they did this crossover with the Brood, and I was like, I'm out.
I'm done.
I'm done. I don't want to come back. I'm leaving. So, fucking yeah. So, anyways, there's this one scene where like they're on Cyclops at a podium. I would assume at like a public hearing or something, but he's outside, so it's like City Hall or whatever. And Jean's there, and there's this woman crying in the front row, and Jean's like, Cyclops, do you know? He's like, I don't need you to read their mind to tell me what they're thinking, Jean. He's like, she's looking at me like, why you? Why you get to come back and not my daughter?
Hmm.
Why you? What makes you so goddamn special? And I don't get to get my baby girl back. And he said, well, the answer is this. He's like, I'm not special. He's like, the idea of this reincarnation is you people are fixated on that you're going to get your loved one back in the exact shape that they left you. He's like, the truth of the matter is you get her back, you're going to have to reteach her everything all over again. She's
Hmm.
not going to know who you are. She's not going to be your daughter. She's going to be an empty shell that looks like your daughter, and you're going to have to
Redo it.
redo it. Whereas I guess the X-Men have like technology or a database where every time they're reincarnated, Xavier like files those like that data into them, and it
Yeah,
creates a new version of them from the old version where they left off, type of deal.
to a
Where you
certain
can't,
point. Yeah.
yeah, where you can't do it with the humans. And
Yeah.
I thought this was absolutely brilliant. Now I would have read this wholeheartedly, and obviously it has some great shining moments. But when when I was reading that, I was like, wow, that is so intriguing to the point where it's like, think about that in a real world perspective, especially someone from like me. Like my dad's anniversary is coming up next month, and it'll be 5 years. Like, why wouldn't I want my dad
Hmm.
reincarnated? You know what I mean? But like to have that ability, to have that argument, I was like, that's the kind of shit that I want to read about in the X-Men, or I want to read about really big, awesome battles.
Yeah.
I don't want to read about sword and what is it? Onion? No, not onion.
I
What's it
actually don't
called?
know.
What is it called? It begins with an O. Whatever. It's the human group that's like against mutants that's just been like destroying them and killing them. Now I will tell you, I've been reading Sabretooth War religiously, and that is epic. There's 4 issues to it so far, and that is the bloodiest fucking thing I've seen so far. Man, the Council of Victor Creeds is destroying Wolverine and his allies in the most vicious ways. So it's worth a jump to that.
I will. I'll jump into that. So,
I don't really have too much more to say. We were going to go into wrestling, but that's for another time because it will tangent. I will tell you this: as soon as we get off camera or off mic, I will send you The Rock's 21-minute promo on Twitter.
Okay.
Or X.
Yes, I think I may have seen that, or at least I know.
He released it yesterday before SmackDown.
Nice.
It was 21 minutes of him shitting on Cody Rhodes.
Hilarious.
In character. But here's the thing. More than ever now, I am 100% sure. I don't want to eat a hat, but I'll eat something terrible. That if The Rock doesn't turn on Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, I will be beyond shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Because The Rock is so over the top hatred with it that it's like, And he even alludes to, he goes, Cody, what I whispered in your ear. And it's like, yeah, because they haven't touched upon that. But what he said was, it's not your time, it's my time. Let's go make the biggest. Well, no, he goes, it's not your time, it's my time. Let's make the biggest WrestleMania of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And because he's stuck on the fact in character that Roman and Rock would have been the biggest thing ever.
Right, yeah.
And on SmackDown, he came out and he's like, I'm your boss. I'm the most powerful man in WWE. There's no one other than me. So, like, The Rock is, like, super God mode evil now. And Roman was like, yeah, he's like, you know what? He's like, this is great. I'll do anything for family. But before we go any further, he goes, you got to acknowledge me. And that was like, ooh, that was the holy shit moment that, like, is Roman going to get acknowledged by The Rock? Is The Rock going to be hesitant? And The Rock was a little hesitant, but he acknowledged him.
Ooh.
But then when they threw up the Bloodline 1 again, he threw up the L again. It's like, listen, the Rock's got to know he's throwing up 2 fingers. He's
100%. He's not dumb.
So exactly. But yeah, no, we won't go into that right now. I highly suggest you check out the promo that I'm going to send you in like 2 minutes. And then we'll chat soon. Monday's my birthday, so we'll
sure.
We'll catch up.
Yep. On that note, folks, as so often is the case, we'll leave it there. I didn't really have any.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.